Oh, that lunch was absolutely perfect. I can't even guess how many cheeseburgers I managed to fill my stomach with, but I can certainly feel the pressure of them all, just churning and struggling to digest. I could use a tall, hot cup of peppermint tea. Just a moment, dear. Fetch your dragoness and her guests the usual post-meal tea, and do not dawdle. For an obese lady as indulgent and encumbered as I, my digestive system is certainly the only hard-working part of me left, and I intend to keep it that way. I certainly enjoy feeling it struggle between the opposing pressures of the onslaught of food I've eaten and its burial in my magnificent adipose. But what about you? You've certainly glutted yourself to satisfaction exactly as I would. You ate cheeseburger after cheeseburger, worrying only of filling your body with the goodness of grease-soaked meat, cheese, and bread. Those cheeseburgers in particular are actually called butterburgers. I make certain that my cooks spread heapings of butter on the buns and patties, and knowing the desires of their obese beauty, they use more than enough. It's an amount of butter as perfectly overabundant as I. Oh, all this food talk is making me famished. Yes, my dear, I'm serious. I think you'll find your appetite will increase as you force your body to adjust to your whims of pleasure. Though in my case, I've never known my stomach to ever truly feel satisfied. Now, this was nearly 2 decades ago, but even before I dedicated myself to the pursuit of my vices, I was still quite the gluttonous lady. I would treat every meal as a feast, and I simply let that impulse carry me forward to greater and greater portion sizes. Now, I was always obese, but as you've most definitely witnessed by now, the sheer girth, weight, and glorious excess of my corpulence today far surpasses anything I was in my 20s or even some of my 30s for that matter. I intend to relegate who I am now by fattening my beautiful form into even greater obesity. Much like how I consider my obese body of 10 or 20 years ago to be thin by my personal standards, I hope to view my current 40-year-old body in much the same way at 50. I was always still stunning, of course, but my beauty was always indisputably accentuated by my corpulence. Thinking of time, I can't help but wonder how you will look a decade from now. Perhaps I could help you set goals for yourself. Now, these are only suggestions, but do you see that line of portraits on the wall of my chamber? Oh, I know I'm gorgeous. I have a habit of getting portraits done for a reason. But what I was envisioning was you using them as goalposts and following in my heavy claw steps. At least until waddling is no longer a concern of yours. That in particular is a story I'd love to tell you someday. Well, perhaps I could even have one of my artists paint a portrait of your own today, to mark the beginning of your journey. It would be my pleasure. Oh, our tea is ready. I'll have them fetch us cookies to eat as we chat, though I'll be honest, I'll be much more preoccupied with filling my fat snout. As I, Freya the Dragoness, goddess of obesity, always say, indulge and fatten to your heart's content.